All right, picture this. You've just crushed the interview. Your resume is perfect. You're feeling on top of the world. And then you see these 6 little words on the application. For so many of us, this is the exact moment the panic kicks in.
Yeah. If you've ever felt that pit in your stomach, that, oh no, who am I even going to ask feeling, you are definitely not alone. It can feel like a huge wall in your job search. But here's the good news. It's a wall you can absolutely get over. So that's what we're going to break down today. We'll walk through how to build, ask for, and use professional references to land that next job, even if you're sitting there right now thinking you have absolutely no one to ask.
To get started, let's talk about a guy we'll call James. He's got a great resume, he's awesome in interviews, but the second he's asked for references, he freezes up. Why? Because his old manager quit and he lost their info. And his current manager at this high-turnover restaurant barely knows his name. He feels completely and totally stuck. This is the exact problem we're going to solve.
So, to solve James's problem, and yours, we've got to go back to basics. What are employers really looking for when they ask for this stuff? I mean, what's the whole point? At its core, a reference is really just someone who can vouch for you professionally. A hiring manager is going to call them to, verify your story. They'll ask real questions like, can you describe their biggest strength? Or how did they handle a high-pressure situation? They just want an outside perspective on your skills, your reliability, and, frankly, what you're actually like to work with.
Okay, let's clear up something that trips a lot of people up. A reference and a recommendation letter are not the same thing. A reference is a live conversation that the employer starts. A recommendation letter is a written document that you provide. So think of it like this. The reference check is a required test you have to pass, and a good letter of recommendation is like getting some powerful bonus points to help you ace it.
So who should you ask? Well, there's definitely a pecking order. The absolute gold standard is your direct supervisor or manager. They can speak about your performance better than anyone. If that's not an option, a shift lead or a senior coworker who trained you is your next best bet. Then you can move down the list to other managers in the company, professors, or maybe even a long-term regular customer who can speak to your great service.
Now, let's talk about the do not call list. And I'm serious here. Using your family or friends just completely tanks your credibility. Same goes for a coworker who was at your exact same level. But the biggest rule of all, if you have even a shadow of a doubt that someone will give you a glowing positive review, do not put them on your list. A lukewarm reference is actually worse than having no reference at all.
Okay, you've got your list of potentials. Now what? How do you actually approach them? Because how you ask is every bit as important as who you ask.
It's a simple, professional, 3-step process. First, brainstorm more people than you need. Always have backups. Second, reach out to each person one-on-one. No group texts or mass emails, please. And third, this is the pro move right here. Once they say yes, you give them a cheat sheet. This makes their job easy and ensures they give you the best possible reference.
And you really don't need to overthink the ask. Keep it simple and direct. Something just like this works perfectly. It's polite, it gives them some context, and it clearly asks for their permission. And I'm going to say it again. Never, ever list someone without asking them first. That's how you burn a professional bridge for good.
So what if you haven't talked to a great old boss in a few years? That's totally fine. Just send a polite email or message to reconnect first. Acknowledge that it's been a while, briefly state your request, and this is key. Give them an easy way out. Say something like, I completely understand if too much time has passed. It's low pressure and very professional.
But let's get back to the core problem, the one people like James face. What do you do when you genuinely feel like you have no one to ask? This is where we need to get strategic.
But don't worry, it's not a dead end. There are 4 different strategies you can use to build a solid reference list right from scratch. Here are your options. First, reconnect with that manager from years ago. You would be shocked how often people remember good employees. Second, use a senior coworker or a shift lead. They're a perfectly valid alternative to a manager. Third, mix and match your sources to create a complete picture of who you are. And finally, if all else fails, play the long game. Intentionally work somewhere for 6 months just to get a great current reference for your next career move. So how did this all play out for James? Let's go back to a story and see exactly how he put these strategies into action and turned his whole situation around.
This is that mix your sources strategy in action. James knew he couldn't get 3 perfect manager references, so he got creative. He reconnected with an old manager on LinkedIn, he asked his trusted shift lead who knew his day-to-day work better than anyone, and he added his volunteer coordinator who could speak to his work ethic and character outside of a paid job.
And the result? The hiring manager got this great 360-degree view of James.
his past reliability, his current performance, and his overall character. And that creative, honest approach worked. James landed the job at that upscale restaurant he was aiming for.
James's success really points to the final and probably most important lesson here. Getting references isn't just a one-time task you do during a job hunt. It's the result of a career-long principle.
This is really the heart of it all. Your resume, your cover letter, your interview answers, that's all your story, in your own words. Your references? They are the third-party validation. They're the proof that what you say about yourself is actually true. And employers value that proof more than almost anything. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Look at the professional relationships you're building right now, every single day. If a potential employer called one of those people tomorrow, what story would they tell? Because ultimately, that story is your true reputation.